Hey, what's up, everybody? Just wanted to give a quick little update as far as how things have been going on the cars. So Pontiac, as you know, has been in paint. We moved on with a gentleman named James, who came recommended from one of my neighbors, and he got straight to it on the car, and he was really pleased with what he saw from Jeremy's effort. So everything from the doors back, it's completed. I mean, it's good. He filled in a couple little things that Jeremy had identified but hadn't intended to yet. But overall, he didn't have to go back and redo any of Jeremy's work. And for anybody who's been in paint and body, or in my situation, painted aircraft, that's tricky. Any painter worth his salt is not going to want to fully trust somebody else's prep work. I mean, it's just the way it is. And so for James to be comfortable and to have assessed what Jeremy did and feel good about it, to build on that, speaks volumes about the quality of work that Jeremy was able to put into the car. And that to have that piece moving on, it's great. It helps keep the time estimate low on that car and getting it turned around. But in case we hadn't covered it, the color we're going to be going with is Marlboro Maroon Metallic, which was from the 66 to 67 Corvettes. So Corvettes of a similar vintage as the car, which that really fits well with the direction I want this car to go. I've always said this is going to be a car that was has modern safety touches added to it and creature comforts, but from a spirit of the car, I wanted it to stay true to how things were back in that day. And so it's not too far-fetched to believe that somebody would have painted this car a Corvette metallic color. And it when Dad saw this color combination on a Corvette at Greg Hilton's shop while the seats were getting done, him and Mom saw this beautiful 67 that was there in this color, and with the black seats and the chrome trim, they were just beside themselves on it, and they loved it, and that just sealed it, that's what the color was going to be for this car. So James is in the process. He's already got the trunk, the hood undersides painted, and a few other pieces as well, but all he has to do now is finish getting that front clip repair work done, and get that alignment set on those panels. And yeah, we're rocking and rolling. He's going to get the interior painted in the gloss black that needs to be done, trunk floor, all that's going to be squared away. And when that car comes back, it's going to be a thrash. I mean, I've been sitting here and I said I wasn't getting a lot done in these last couple of months while I've been waiting, but I've been taking the time to get the trim polished and just get everything done, all those little things that are going to take time, that when it comes time for reassembly, I'm not going to, that's not the time to do that. The time to clean that stuff up is now. So taking, taking the initiative to get that stuff done, the wheel arch trim and, the rocker panels that had to get saved from the parts car, which thankfully they're in great shape. They're not rusted out. A little bit of steel wool, and they've cleaned right up, and they have a really good depth to them. And one or two more rounds of metal polish, and I think they're going to look flawless. But just getting that kind of stuff squared away, and making sure that it's set aside safe, it's not going to get damaged. Because right now, if you were to look in the garage, I've got some space, but where there should be a LeMans, I've got seats, I've got other parts and random things like that that are just kind of sitting idly by, waiting for this car. So when it gets out of paint, it's going to be a fun effort to get it all back together again. But I'm confident that it's going to go really well and quickly at that. But yeah, that's really where we're at with the LeMans. I mean, it's, again, all the mechanics side of it's been squared up. The choke is set where it needs to be, and cranks up, cold starts, idles, does all that stuff. And James hasn't had a problem pulling it in and out of the shop. So pat myself on the back for getting that done. Moving on to the Mustang, that's a little bit of a different story. So we've kind of noticed that there's an electrical short that's reared its ugly head somewhere in this 30-year-old harness of this car. So looking at what's probably going to turn into a full-on rewire. Not really going to dive into that. I've torn it down to troubleshoot, and then got to where I realized, there's just too many inconsistent results, and when I'm chasing my tail because of where the power leaks were showing, it could be coming from anywhere. It's going through the fuse panel in the car and the starter solenoid, and it's going to take somebody with a lot more of a solid background in electrical theory to probably figure this out. And even then, I think that person would just say, yeah, 30-year-old harness, what are you doing? Don't repair this because it's going to happen again. So we're just going to replace the harness and rewire the car, and clean some of the just some of the relay installs. The way Ford did these cars, they were constantly updating them to in 1987, fuel pump relay was under the driver's seat, but by the time it got to Johnny's car in 93, it's in the engine bay, the mass airflow sensor. And so there's all those kind of little things like that I would rather have the relays in a common point in a place that makes sense. And so that's going to give us the opportunity to do that. And the other piece of that is, come to find out, Mode's quarter horse, while it's a capable EMS setup, not really got a lot of motor support, and the tuning shop that I'd hoped would be taking care of that is no longer supporting it. So since they're no longer supporting that, at this point I'm probably going to be going Holly Terminator, and all the more reason you're going to be in there, rewire the car. So that's what we're looking at, and because of how I don't want to say invasive that's going to be, but that's going to be time consuming, and it's going to be labor intensive, and I'm comfortable just leaving that car put together as is, resting on the battery tender right now while we focus on getting the LeMans done, because when that car comes back to my possession, it's going to be thrash time to get it put back together. I'll have time to mess with the Mustang after the LeMans is done, and hand it back over to my dad. So we'll get it done. It's not going anywhere. Just kind of hitting pause on that car for now, which it's about making sure it's done right, and more importantly, safely, because it is a car that hold near and dear. And the last thing I want is for some electrical issue to happen on that car and cause a problem that's either going to strand me in the worst way possible, or worse, cause a fire. We don't want any of that. So it's going to be done correctly. But beyond that, just kind of chugging along, trying to rat hole money away where I can, just in prep for knowing that there's going to be nickel diming parts on this LeMans when it comes back from paint, that it's like, oh yeah, I threw away that trim piece, or I need this. But anyways, we got new door panels coming. We got some rear windshield trim that was missing that's here. And just going to keep on cataloging and stockpiling stuff up in the meantime, and get it all put back together when the time is right. So, but hopefully next update comes sooner than the gap that was between this one and the last one. So looking forward to it.